Hi guys, and welcome to Dreaming in Fibre. I am your host Sarah from Sarah's Texture Crafts. How are you? It is August. It feels very September-y here. We've had, here comes Patch, we've had rain sort of on and off today, and probably for the last few days actually. Hello Patch. What's that? You can see another doggy on the TV, can you? You're not happy about that, are you? So there might be a little bit of crying, I apologise. Yeah, it's been an on and off rain here, feeling very autumnal for what should be summer. So fingers crossed that will pick up for the weekend and we'll get back to, come out of there please, a normal summer, because we've been spoilt with a good few weeks of decent sun, so it'd be nice to have that back. So, what have I been up to? Well, production for September shows, but also just sort of generally having a bit of a rest, catching up on stuff on the website at sarastexturecrafts.com, and so I thought it was about time I popped in and just said a quick hello and showed you what I was up to. I'm going to start with the shop updates today. I've had a few already, so I'm going to insert those pictures here. So yeah, I had blends to update. I also had I've got some bats and things coming over the next, I think tomorrow I'm going to update them. It's Wednesday today, isn't it? Yeah, it is. And a couple of patterns that I've released, one of which I'm wearing. So let's talk about that first, shall we? Do things in the right order. This is my Xmas shawl. So I shall take it off. Sorry, the lights, because the light's shining from behind, you can see straight through it. But this shawl has, it's triangular, but it has the point knocked off at the bottom, so you get this kind of straight effect. If I hold that up to me there, yeah, you can see it a bit better there. I've knit mine from hand spun, but you could also use any Aran weight yarn of commercial variety that you want. All of the details are on the pattern page, and the price is £1.50. You can also buy that from sarastexturecrafts.com, but I have it available for sale on Ravelry too, so look out for the Xmas shawl. I also have a second pattern up for sale. This is actually a free pattern, and this is my Storm on Exmoor capelet. So I'm going to pop that on for you, just show you what it looks like. Caught on my hair at the back there. It's essentially a little poncho. Do that right, it's got sort of natural shoulder shaping as well, so there you can see that looks a bit like that. And again, apologies for the lighting, that's a bit better. That's free, so I will put the link in the show notes page, which is at dreaminginfibre.blogspot.com, for both of those. If you're on the newsletter list, then you'll get links for those in the next newsletter coming out for the beginning of September. So I'm going to pop this back on because it's actually just a little bit chilly here this morning, so make use of this lovely shawl now that I finally finished it and managed to get the pattern uploaded for you. So a couple of new things there. Also, going back to the shop update, I showed you these two skeins with their little yarn tags on them last time we spoke. Not getting great colour on those, so what I'll do is I'll take a picture and insert that here. And these are mini skeins testing that I did from the blends that I have for sale. This is colour Turner and this is a Country Walk. So they are really squishy and soft because they're merino and bamboo, so they're going to make some lovely things for you, and I think would look great in an Exmouth shawl. Also in the shop update, what else have I got? I think that's it actually. Yeah, I think that's it. It's just been so busy since I got back from the July shows that whilst it's been peaceful in some respects, I've had quite a lot to do. If you've been on the website sarastexturecrafts.com and if you buy the merino solid colours, then you will have noticed that I've started to change some of the way that I show the pictures. Just generally felt that I've been feeling for a while that I've been needing a little bit of an update, purely because when I first bought the business Craft Mania, I think it was back in 2007, I literally since then have been using their stock photography, which was fine for the purposes of selling at that point in time, because I literally had, when I bought the business, I had about 48 hours to transfer everything from their website and eBay shop over to mine. So it was just quicker and easier that I used their stock photography and descriptions and then slowly adapted them as I grew and moved on and changed my offer. So the merino is one of the areas that I just haven't touched. It's kind of sold and I haven't really sort of needed to do anything with it, but now I kind of feel that it really benefits from a bit of an update. So I'm slowly working my way through taking all of those pictures, and so when I've released things like these blends, you'll also notice that it's got the Sarah's Texture Crafts tag on there. So I've been busy doing things like that, so kind of all over the place, because also thinking of the September shows, which I thought I should remind you of first before I show you some of the other lovely fun stuff that I've been working on. So, got my diary here. The first show I need to tell you about is Bristol Wool Fair. That is Friday the 5th right through to Sunday the 7th of September. And then at West Point in Exeter, I will be at their September craft event, which I think is called Stitches, Sewing and Hobby Crafts, and that's from the 25th of September right through to the 28th, so 4 days for you there. Then on October, the 11th and 12th of October, Saturday and Sunday, I'll be at Woolly Weekend, which is in Kelly House. And then on the 25th I will be at a private event for the West Country Creative Embroiderers, and that is their AGM, which is why it's a sort of closed event. So I've got quite a lot to sort of reproduce and catch up on for that, having sold quite a lot at the July show, so thank you for that. That was really brilliant. I guess the last thing I need to tell you about is Fibre Club and Yarn Club. There are still some spots left for the latest club offerings. They will start to ship in September, so September, October and November ship dates. There are still plenty of places left, so come and grab your spot. Speaking of which, I will show you the third and final instalment of the club that I've just finished. And this is colour Fruit Punch. So I'm going to insert a picture here. And that will give you a much clearer glimpse of these. But there are hints of purples through to a very soft purpley tone of blue through reds through pinks, and it's all those kind of berry crush colours that you expect from a wonderful fruity punch at this time of the year. And so I've got a little bit of fibre to play with myself, and I've got a skein of yarn. So I'm not sure what that wants to be yet, but at the moment I just want to squish it. It just, particularly as it's raining outside, makes me feel, you know, sort of lovely and summery again. So I've been working on those. That all went out, and I think that's been very well received. Next I would show you some of the things I have been working on, and then at the end I will show you a few bits and pieces that I picked up at the shows over July that I wanted to share with you. So I was kind of feeling like I hadn't got a huge amount to show, to sort of share with you this time round, and I think that was probably because when it was hot, it was extremely hot here, so to be fussing with needles or playing too much with fibre outside of work just seemed and sort of felt a little bit wrong. It just wasn't fun. So I did, I sort of finished off a few projects, but it's only really been in the last week where the weather has sort of cooled down a bit that I've felt like even vaguely getting back to things. And actually, as a result, I've kind of wanted to do all of the things, as you do. So I've got a couple of things finished off, and then I will go into stash enhancement. I won't show you anything that I'm currently working on, first and foremost because I've left it downstairs like a silly girl. But secondly, I think there's quite a lot to get through, and I don't want to keep you too long today because the next time I record I want to share with you Bristol Wool Fair. Okay, so the first thing I've been working on, this is from the first package of this last yarn club, and these are my mini mitts. This is based on the free pattern that I have out there, which you can find on Ravelry or on the blog Crafts of Texture, but on Ravelry, well, in both places, it's called the Simple Mitts pattern, and I will show you a picture of these here. And yeah, I'm really pleased with those. These are much shorter than the Harlequin colourway I did originally for the pattern, but I think for sort of early autumn or late spring, these will be perfect for dog walking and working around the house as well, because this is an old house, it can tend to feel a little bit cold, so I always like to have mitts in my pocket just in case. So I finished those and I was really pleased with that. The next thing I did was, Darren of course eyed them up and decided he wanted some, so this is his version of, and again he didn't want a really long pair, so there they are. I might have showed you these at Fibre East. I can't remember if I was working on these when I was podcasting. I had them with me anyway. Sorry, trying to find the little yarn tag. This is a Fable Drops print yarn. What colour is it? It's colour 542, and it's all these sort of greens and camouflagey mustards and browns and things. So these are going to be his dog walking mitts in the winter. He protested last year that he didn't need mitts. He's got a thing about fingerless gloves, but actually when you're walking the dog, these sort of things are perfect, because it means obviously you've got much more manoeuvrability in your hands sometimes than you do when you're wearing gloves, and sometimes you kind of need that when you're trying to wrangle between puppies that are playing or maybe not playing, because we've got a few. There are a couple of aggressive dogs around here, so it's not that you want to have bare fingers around that, but it's kind of better to be able to you know, have full manoeuvrability if you need to get somewhere quick, if you know what I mean. The last thing I finished was a hat. This is a shorter version of the Sockhead hat by Kelly McClure, I do believe. That's on Ravelry. I think it might be a free pattern on Ravelry, I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but I've knit this once before for me, so I wanted to knit this. This is going to be a gift for Christmas. So, keep that between you and me. The yarn for that one is, and I've still got a fair amount left, is Araucania yarns, and it's their botany lace, and I'm presuming the colour is 120052. Could be wrong there, but it's a mix of greys, sort of pinky reds and black, and I love the way that that's pulled and sort of swirled around the hat. I love the fact that it swirls differently in the rib than it does in stockinette. I won't pop it on because I've got things keeping the old barnet up today, so but I will insert a picture for you and you can see for yourself. It's a really nice hat, and I'm very tempted to keep it for myself, but I won't. I'll be good. I promise. Next, what have I got? Oh, I've got spinning for you. So, this chunky jumbo bit of loveliness is, it's a wool-based fibre. It's a Scandinavian wool, but I wasn't given the exact composition or the exact breed details. It is it's a stripe, and it was formed from a pin roving that I spun. So there, I think, is about 180 grams on there, maybe a little bit more. It could be closer to 200. What I need to do, because this is pretty much finished resting, is I need to Navajo ply that, and then I'll turn that into a skein of yarn. So I'm looking forward to that, but I have a couple of things on the wheel that I need to finish first, and they are for the next parts of the gradient spinning tutorial series that I've been doing over on the blog craftsofTexture.com. So catch up with those. You can find a link to that on my main website, which is sarastexturecrafts.com. So yeah, I've got a couple of things to do for that. Those are on the wheel at the moment. So I'll get to it, and I will show you those as and when. So, a little bit of enabling. I wanted to, and there's going to be a bit of rustling, share with you some of the things I picked up at, I think these are all from Fibre East actually, but let me have a look. Pop that over there. First of all, I picked up a pair of Addy turbos. These are the sock rockets, 2.5mm, so 20cm in length. And the lady who sold me these, which is the lady from Coastal Colours, you can email her at coastal-colours@sky.com. I don't know if she has a website. If she does, I will link that in the show notes. But she was knitting on these, and she said that once you get used to them, you kind of really don't want to go back. So I thought, well, you know, I'll try anything once, so we'll give them a go. So I will let you know what I think of those as and when I get to them, because I'm sure it's about time I had another pair of socks on the needles. Speaking of socks, I thought these lovely mini skeins would make perfect stripe socks. I will insert a picture here to give you a better idea of colour. I bought colours Dandelion, Sour and Vermin. I would have called it mushroom. But it's from 5 Moons. It's really funny that you go all the way to Bedford to buy something from somebody who lives, well, basically around the corner to you. But you can find 5 Moons at www.5moons.co.uk. This is their 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base, which they call their Lunar Plus 4-ply vintage. It's lovely, squishy. I love the colours, and I think they make a really nice stripe. I did spend some time on her stand just looking at all the mini skeins, thinking, oh, I could make some mitts, I could do some socks, I could do this, I could do that. So yeah, at the moment these are destined for socks, but as I say mitts, they could also make the most wonderful mitts, so we shall see. But that's 60 grams, so either way that's enough to make a pair of socks for me because I have small feet. What else did I get? Oh, okay. Now I'm going to insert a picture here. That is my lovely carding table. Now I use Ashford drum carders because I'm supplied by Ashford, so I believe in, you know, if you're going to be supplied by a company, you need to use their product as much as possible, so that I think it helps you to sell if you have an understanding of how their product works. But what I was using before I had a word with the lovely folk at Classic Carder is that I was just using one of my ordinary put-up tables, and it was slightly too low and it was slightly too flexible really for carding, because there are points when you're carding when some of the fibre doesn't want to quite behave as well as the last bit of fibre you put on, and so it's a bit more effort, and so a flexible table and the whole table height thing becomes an issue. So by the end of the day you actually become quite achy, and it's going to be bad in the long term if you produce a lot of bats not to use your equipment in the right way for you. So I was, and have been for a while, because I always come across Classic Carder at the shows I do, and both Paul and his wife are fabulous fun, and so it was about time that I gave in and bought myself a carding table. I think he sells them for, because I forget how much I paid, I think it was 65, but it's a good solid piece of wood. It's almost like a butcher's block, only seemingly a little bit taller, and there seems to be enough room underneath that you could pop his carders certainly underneath, so if you had more than one you could swap them over quite easily. I've actually got both of my Ashford carders sitting on the top, so I've got a standard 72 point and I've got a wild carder which is a 72 point as well, which is a slimline version, and both of those sit quite nicely on top, so I'm able to get all of my blending and bat making done quite quickly and easily. So thank you to those guys. That's their card, Classic Carder, and that is www.classiccarder.co.uk. If you haven't seen their work, then check it out. Obviously I should be promoting Ashford, but they're such wonderful guys, I can't help but give them a mention. And then finally, my last purchase, which you may have noticed during Fibre East, there was a very brief moment when I walked into one of the tents where someone shouted out Sara, and then the clip changed, and that was because I was stopped by one of the other stall holders, and she was really wonderful, and she spoke to me for a while actually about the fact that she watched the podcast, and the fact that she's now showing at Fibre East because I showed what Fibre looked like on the podcast, so she was extremely grateful and stuff. And it, you know, it really kind of sort of tickled me, and it was sort of surreal, and it was nothing to do with what she was saying to me. She was perfectly lovely, and it was really nice conversation. I really, really enjoyed meeting her. But it was really kind of strange to think that people watch the podcast. You know, I don't get a lot of people coming up to me and talking at length about the podcast. And I get, you know, people who say, "Oh, watch the podcast," or, you know, "I'll see you again on the podcast." But it still kind of feels a bit strange. Anyway, the upshot of it was that you know, I stood there talking to her for a while, and I sort of asked her about her product and things. And so she works with the National Trust, bringing the fleece from the sheep that live on National Trust land to us in the form of yarn. And this one caught my eye in particular because it's squishy and soft, and really not what you expect from a Hebridean. This is it's approximately a DK weight. It's about 100 grams, and you get 200 metres, so I would say it's a bit thicker than a DK weight. It's really soft and squishy, and the beautiful thing about this is that this is fleece that comes from lambs. So being the lamb first clip, it remains remarkably soft compared to how the fibre would spin up in a commercial mill from older ewes. And I just loved, it's such a deep bitter chocolate that, I mean, you see I'm playing with it and squishing it, that I just love it. And this one is actually from the Wimpole estate, so I'm really looking forward to using that. I'm not sure what it wants to be yet. At the moment I'm squishing it, but she, let's see what her web address is, www.naturalyarn.co.uk, and that's her business card there. So I recommend checking her out. I think I might have paid about £9 for that, something like that. And then the last thing I got was pattern for a sheepdog. I'm not sure when I'll knit this little fella up, but there are basically Sarah, she's from Sheep Knits, sheep spelt SHEAP knits, and that's www.sheepknits.co.uk. And Sarah was selling her kits opposite my stand, and she had some really nice pieces. She had cows, dragons, the sheepdog, there was a sheep, I think there was a chicken or a rooster. There were certainly a few other animals, and they were quite fun. And I mean, the pattern looks fantastic. It looks like it should be fairly easy to follow. I don't think I have any issues or will have any issues with making it, so I totally recommend that. You will be able to find her on her main website, but I also did mention to her about getting her patterns on Ravelry and possibly Craftsy as well, so look out for those. But certainly check them out at her website, and give her a nudge about Ravelry, because I think she could do quite well there. It's nice to support an indie, isn't it? So that was my haul from Fibre. Lastly, I wanted to show you, there was a quick flash of that there, I was enabled online by a fellow indie. This is Countess Ablaze, and you probably know of her work. She is having an open studio on Saturday the 13th of September from 11 till 4, and you can find out about her, all of the details of that at countessablaze.com. Sorry, my eyes went a bit funny there. But that's the little flyer for the open studio. And I have wanted to purchase some of her yarn for a little while now. And so I thought after all the work in July that I ought to treat myself. Only natural. And what I like about her work is it's very different to the kind of things that I would dye myself. But I still kind of love it in an 80s kind of kitsch way, this colour in particular. This is called Northern Lights on her Lady Persephone sock, which is 75% BFL and 25% nylon. In 100 grams of this 4-ply weight you get 425 metres. So plenty of yarn there to make something. And it really is neon. I will insert a picture here. And she sent me a small sample of the same colourway, you can't really see it there, on a blend as well. I'm assuming that's just a merino blend. I will have a look at that when I have a little play with it, but that was quite nice. I'm not sure what this wants to be yet. A pair of socks and possibly a pair of mitts, which seems to be my kind of go-to quick and easy project at the moment. I am working on a couple of new shawl designs, so I guess really the quick mitts and socks is the kind of projects that I want to have on the go. And also I picked up my fall cardigan, which I talked about a few episodes ago, well, probably more than a few episodes ago. It was probably back April, May I last spoke about that. So I'm hoping that will have a lot more progress on it, possibly even finished by the next time we talk. Anyway, I think that's far too much of me for today, so I think it's time to sort of send you my farewells. Hope that you are having a good summer wherever you are, or a good winter if you're in the southern hemisphere. I will catch you probably a little bit later in September. As I say, Bristol Wool Fair is the 5th to the 7th, and I would really like the next episode to encompass that, so I'll try and record or sort of finish editing the week after I come back from that. So expect a podcast probably around mid-September now, okay? So until then, I shall send you lots of love, and I hope you dream in fibre, and if you need anything, you come catch me on sarastexturecrafts.com, okay? I'll see you later, guys. Cheers!